All right, what's up, bass heads? This is the Bass Drop Podcast. I'm your host, DJ Dirty Bass. Below me, we have Kalana. Kalana. What is the proper way to say your name? Because there's a lot of people that say it.
The KAU is pronounced as cow, like a cow, and then the rest is just Lana. So cow, Lana.
Okay. All right.
It's a common mistake. I'm used to it my whole life.
Yeah. I've heard you call all kinds of things, but so this is episode 6 of the Bass Drop Podcast. Before we bring our guest in, I just want to note what's on this banner up here. If you use coupon code BASSDROP, you will get 20% off any flash drive or custom edit at djdirtybass.com. And we also have financing available on all products that include subwoofers. So if you're looking for a new sub, I'm a dealer for Audio Ace and Resilient Sounds. We don't have a lot of Resilient Sounds on the website, but I can have those drop shipped to you. So if you need something from Resilient Sounds, just contact me and I'll get that set up for you. But our guest this week is Living Loud with Andy. So what's up, Andy?
How's it going, Andy?
Is going on? What's going on, guys? Appreciate you bringing me on the show tonight.
We appreciate you coming on.
And I love the background. I love the intro. Those are a necessity for live streams. I know a little bit about them, but man, again, thank you for bringing me on tonight. And I think it's so cool that you guys are doing a podcast. You see a few of them, and I've been watching the past 5 that you had, and you've been bringing on some solid guests. You keep it G-rated. That's the way I like to do it. I mean, a little bit of PG-13. You know, we like to have a little bit of fun, but still, the positivity is needed. So I appreciate you guys for that.
Well,
exactly, and that's our whole thing. That's our whole thing, man. Like, we don't care what brand you run, how loud you are, you know, what you've got in your system. We're here to, you know, highlight what people are doing in the audio community and, you know, what got people into audio. And that's our whole, you know, that's our whole thing. So.
Absolutely. And, you know, everybody has their story, and I love the fact of just kicker, because everybody has a kicker story. I know you guys probably have one, and it's a cool company to work with. And I kind of just got lucky with grabbing the Solo X18 when I did 12 years ago, but I had a few other subs before, but I don't know. Once I found the kicker, I kind of stuck with it. But, you know, with just getting into car audio, it's always, you know, everyone has their story. That's it.
Right.
What was your story? I watched a few of yours, but with being a rebaser, Zach, you know, what made you want to do that, and your story?
All right. That's actually a good question. So that's kind of a long story, and I have a whole video about that on YouTube, but I'll give you the short version. In high school, I was a huge introvert, and I didn't have a lot of friends and stuff. I was kind of weird, awkward. So I just, you know, it's just kind of something that I levitated to. My first introduction to bass was my cousin had a couple RE, I want to say SX10s, or I always forget what they were.
Yeah.
But they were a couple RE10s, and he had them in a prefab box on a Crunch 1000 watt amp. And that was my first system I ever heard. And it stuck with me, man. I thought the vibrations, the sound, everything was cool. And I ended up getting these headphones. They were Sony XB headphones, I think the 500s, but they had like really good bass reproduction. So I would listen to bass heavy music. And somewhere along the line, I actually looked into making dubstep, and that didn't work out because I'm doing this now. But
hey, never too late to try it again. I mean, dubstep music just sounds good in almost every car audio system, unless you're playing a lot of wasted information, of course.
Right. But the rebase, where that came from, in my search for, you know, more bass heavy music, I found Decaf and DJ Slow and Throw. And I found them on Facebook. I figured out who they were, and I messaged them, and I was like, hey, can you give me some insight on what you're doing and how you do it? And they were both actually very helpful in that. And that's how I learned. And originally, my original style in the first few packs is how mainly how DJ Slow and Throw rebase. He kind of gave me a step-by-step. Decaf gave me some tips and stuff on how to export the music in higher quality. And, you know, my style has evolved from there. I don't do music anywhere near what those first few packs are. And if you listen to, you know, my packs throughout the timeline, I've been doing this for 12 years. So if you look at my packs throughout, you know, you can tell the quality has increased over time to where we are today.
You're always going to get better. I mean, I watch some of my old live streams and YouTube videos. I'm like, oh my God, this is cringe. This is bad. But you get better. And I like your music, man. You know, I was listening to it before I knew who you were, you know, of course on YouTube. Now I got your USB drive and, you know, I've been playing around with it a little bit, you know, because it's always the hardest thing to find the right song for your system. And I you know, nod my hat to every single rebaser out there, because I understand it takes time to actually make bass that goes with it, and then to play with your, you know, huge 618 build 160 kind of thing, and, you know, from 20 to 30 hertz, and then another one from 15 to 25, and make it sound accurate. Now I wanted to hear a little bit on your end, you know, because you know, rebasers are awesome, man. You know, it's what fuels us to make these systems play way below 40 hertz. Because if it wasn't for them, we're stuck with music that doesn't play that, you know, or you're having to slow it down, and that's not always, you know, the best way to do it.
And another thing, I was one of, if not I don't remember if anybody did before me, but I know that I was one of the first ones to actually make a subsonic pack with everything that was 20 like and below. And around about that time, you know, people started playing that stuff more because it was available, and it was kind of a influence on the bass community. Those subsonic packs were, and other rebasers and stuff has done, you know, other subsonic stuff since then. But I'll be coming out with some more subsonic packs in the near future, so you can look out for those.
Hey, you know, you can never make too many, you know, bass tracks, because we're always going to try them. We're always going to play them. New music, old music, all alike, you know. But I know Kaluna down there. I know he's playing a lot of your music. He was hanging out at your tent down at TDH whenever I ran into you guys. And Kaluna, what do you think about his music? Is it your favorite?
It's literally, and I'm not just saying this because Zach's sitting here on the live stream with me. I'm the co-host. It's literally the only music that I listen to. There is one other rebaser that I listen to. Her name's DJ Siren.
Oh, I love DJ Siren too. She is awesome.
DJ Siren's got a lot of the old school stuff that I grew up with, but Zach's got a lot of this new stuff that I'm also falling in love with. So it's opened up the world of possibilities for the amount of music that's available to me to play. And I ideally like it because most of it, I play 28 hertz and above. You know, you got a demo from me. And there's a lot of music in that frequency range for me. And with the fact that a lot of the community is playing lows now, there's got to be a little bit of something for me too. I can't play all those super subsonic frequencies in my build.
Right. You know, I feel like a lot of people are, whenever they're playing rebase music, they are inherently playing a lot lower because they got bigger systems. A lot of people that have, well, not saying your system's normal, but, you know, above 28 hertz, which is honestly normal music, you know, there's less people searching for straight bass tracks because they can listen to normal music. So it is kind of hard finding that perfect niche of, you know, the frequency range. I know that's always a thing too. You can't go by just the numbers of the song. You got to actually play it and see if it loads right in your vehicle at full volume or whatever you're used to listening to. It's always, you know, a guessing game. You can get kind of close, but, you know, it's...
See, I started my whole bass hobby back when I was 15. So that's a little over 20 years ago. And back then we had Rockford, we had Kicker, you know, those were the main dominating brands. That you had MTX and other companies like that. But bass wasn't what it is today. Like, we weren't able to play below, let's say, 30 hertz most of the time. So we were only playing regular music or bass mechanics, you know, things like that. But bass mechanics, I feel, was like one of the first few dedicated bass tracks for the systems, and they were still above 30 hertz most of the time.
Right. Bass mechanics and bassatronics, man, you know, like I know they had a lot of collabs together, and I actually had him on one of my shows recently. It was awesome meeting him. But right, you know, most of the stuff is above 30 hertz. There's some in the 20s, but it's not just that straight, you know, certain frequency stuff we're always looking to play in our systems to do the hair tricks, to give the demos. and to keep the coils cold, because if you're playing like above out of your tuning, that speaker moves a little bit more, or it just receives more power because of impedance curve, impedance rise, box rise. We love it. And then it's like you're kind of wasting information there. So we need it right where we want it. And no, it's just it's awesome, man. I figured we talk about re-bass music because DJ Dirty Bassist is on his YouTube channel. Kaloon, are you streaming this on yours as well, or just
I'm streaming on Facebook?
Okay, so I got this streaming on my YouTube channel too. You might see a few guys in here. Appreciate you guys that are tuning in from here. But no, I appreciate what you guys are doing. And I don't know if you got any questions for me or about the build. Have at it.
Choke asked if I'm from Hawaii. I am definitely from Hawaii. I was born and raised on Oahu.
What? I know that you were saying that you moved recently within a year. Is that where you're from?
I'm originally from Hawaii, born and raised. Wow. And then my family moved. My stepdad was military, so he moved to the Virginia area, and I ended up moving to Cali. I moved to Oregon. Me and my wife have moved all over the place. Lived in PA for a little while. And now I reside in Virginia.
That's crazy. Why'd you leave PA? It's a great state.
I did like it, but we had to move away from some stuff. So
yeah. Virginia's not bad. It's not bad.
Nah, it's not bad. Expensive, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
So our question, I guess, for you, Andy, was basically the same thing that you asked me. What got you into car audio in the first place, and what was your first sound system?
Yeah. What kind of got me into car audio was morely just loving music in general. I kind of got adapted to it ever since I could remember. My dad would always be playing music on, the home stereo system, blasting it, vacuuming, cleaning the house. It was like, almost like a daily thing. So I was kind of introduced to louder music at a young age. And then, of course, I got my first boombox because I wanted one. I think I was like 6 or 7. And it just kind of started from there and moved up to like, the 60 CD changers, the whole 9. You wanted more and more. And then as soon as I got a car, of course, it's like, oh, I want to put a radio that's better than what's in here in my car. And I started off with a Lightning Audio 10, but I didn't even put it in an enclosure. I was just like, okay, this is a subwoofer. We can put this into the car and just sit it on the rear deck, magnetized. It's good to go. Tap into the rear. For. Yeah, exactly. And you learn it's like, well, it's doing something, but it's not really making it any louder. And talk to a few people, and they're like, okay, you need a box, you need an amp. Did all that on a Jensen 2-channel. It was like 150 watts RMS. But that was my first system. But my first actual, I would say, like what really got me hooked was I got the dual light up enclosure with a plexiglass, the blue lights, that I was like, oh my God, this is what I want. And it kind of just started and snowballed from there.
Isn't it crazy that specific box you mentioned, almost every bass head from the 90s to the 2000s knows that box?
It was
you
iconic,
or somebody had that box.
Yeah.
Didn't one of our other guests say that was their first box too?
Yeah.
Who was
I forget who it was, but somebody had
said one of them, box.
Yep. It was at Best Buy. That's when Best Buy was really popping. They had the whole display and you could press the buttons and hear different subwoofers going. And it was
I used to go in there and play Bass Mechanics on a CD.
Yeah.
Test out the subwoofers.
Best Buy, it's kind of sad, how everything changed into just online, which is, it's a double-edged sword. It's nice. I can get it in 2 days and I don't have to go anywhere. But, you can't really just physically test stuff like you used to be able to. I know a few Best Buy displays still are functioning, but it's a shell of itself, and just, a lot of the stereo shops around me,
Did you ever have a stereo
What's that?
I was going to say, did you ever have a stereo shop in your area that had like their specific demo room, or like a demo wall where it was just the same woofer, but they just had crazy amounts of power put on it?
Oh no, I didn't have anything like that. Like I said, the Best Buy, the local stereo shop by me, Dan, I mean, he had the functional one. You can try different things, but it would only play certain ones at a certain time. Didn't get a wall of boom, if that's what you're asking.
I was going to say our local Best Buy, the speaker wall still works, but they never have the subwoofers hooked up. I go in and try to test them all the time, just out of curiosity to see if they're going to work or not, but
Yeah.
they never do.
It's a shame, but I feel like there are a few, I guess you would say stereo shops in general that are still trying to do that, but it's not anything what it used to be. I feel like it definitely boomed in that aspect in the 2000s, late 2000s. And, I mean, car audio is coming back in a different way, I think, especially with like the social media, the shows are getting bigger with everything. Cause you guys were just at Ruckus, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's in North Carolina.
Ruckus was phenomenal this year.
Yeah. I want to go. It's like, it's just the family, a full-time job, and the YouTube. There's only so many like finances that I can spread out. Because I do Slamology, and then I've been doing TDH past 2 years, but I do want to do other ones as well. And North Carolina is not too far from me because I'm up by Pittsburgh, PA.
Okay. No, that's why you were like, why'd you leave PA?
Yeah. Yinzer, black and yellow. I mean, it kind of just, Steeler, kicker. It's just, it works.
It makes sense now. The black and yellow everywhere.
Yeah.
My
Ruckus
family does not like that. We vote for the Bengals. So
Yeah.
black and yellow is our sworn enemy now.
Ruckus
Okay.
was a really good show, though. I mean, there's a insane amount of like super loud builds there. There's a couple that I didn't want to get in because I'm weak. I feel like I'm going to die, if I'm in anything over a 160. But there was some very impressive builds. I got to hear Windy City Bourbon for the first time, and that one, if you've never been in it, oh my God, it just wants to take your face and like rip it off, man. Because the wind velocity coming out of that build is just insane. So that was definitely
like Josh Daly's. His is pretty windy too. Like people were 5 feet away and almost doing it like it's like doing a hair trick. It's kind of incredible.
I believe I got it out of Josh's window, just directed. It's crazy.
Freaking wind funnel. That's what it's almost turning into. Like they are amazing, but it's like it's. I wouldn't say it's not bass, but it's just that's that. It's a whole different animal. If you ever sat in something that's like that, it's very enjoyable.
You know those toys that they were like trash cans with a bungee cord bag on the back, and you can like put smoke in it, let it go.
Oh yeah,
those rings.
Yeah,
I really feel like that's what these cars are now. They're just pumping air out the windows, and it's super awesome to see.
Yeah,
right.
Physics, gotta love it.
And another one that's very impressive that was at Ruckus, since you're on our channel, Wasted Information, Kyle Rutherford, the kicker build. I mean, that thing's insane. Every single show he blows a windshield. So
I feel like it's his ultimatum is just to do that, and I think he was on number 5 or 6. It's really crazy with what kickers can do, and they always kind of could. They just didn't have anything out of high power handling woofers since 2008 with the Solo X, the old Warhorse and stuff. And it's just cool that they're getting back into the mix with that. And yeah, his build is amazing. I got to sit in that and just watch her put her hand right through the ceiling. It just ripped right through.
That hole that was in the ceiling was wild.
Yeah. Oh man, and it can just get louder. More he braces that up, because I don't know if he's doing I know he's doing high 60s, but I don't know if he's doing a 70 yet on there. Have you guys ever seen what he metered on that thing?
I have not. I know it's over 60 though.
Yeah, but if he were to build if he were to build that and reinforce it like he did with Clippo, that thing would be easily over a 70. Just just judging by standing beside, I didn't get in it because, like I said, I'm weak. But
that's
just judging by standing beside it,
he won't get into real loud systems. And it's just like the irony, because you think Exo, biggest car audio YouTuber, and it's like he doesn't like it too loud. But now I think he might have to get used to it a little bit more, having what is it, 918s in his car,
12
He's not done finding gains in that thing yet.
No, it's not even like, it's just, that's the thing with every system. It's like, it almost takes years to finally dial it in by changing things, doing things, even with Cookie Monster here, that's the second totally different box that's in there. Same theme. The first one I went for was like the wind pressure. I wanted to do hair tricks. It did hair tricks, but it really, kind of like fell on its face with anything super musical, because the box was super huge. I think I had it in like 13 cubes for an 18. Yeah. And she loved 16 hertz. It would just stand the hair rate up. And
that's awesome.
Changed. Yeah. It was, I wanted to do the hair tricks, and I was like, if I get a 50, that's great. I didn't get the 50. I got a 149.7, and it was okay. So what I wanted to do was change it. I started to rip tinsel leads out of the Solo X just because they're not sewn in through the spider. It's just like, a certain amount, and I am just sending this thing full X-Mech, and it was great. I just wanted to have something more musical, so I could play, anything from like 21 hertz to like 40 hertz, a normal thing. Thank you, Jay Shipes, for super chat. And that's why my subwoofer just started flexing. Appreciate you, man.
I love when that thing goes off like that.
That's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's
That's
like,
awesome.
you have to. But I changed it, and I just shrunk it down to about 10 cubes. And now it was doing a 151.5. But that was on the big Warhorse 10K that I have sitting over here. And I switched up because they came out with a new Warhorse. So now I got 2 of the new Warhorses on there. But being stuck at 2 ohms on each coil, I'm getting about half the amount of power. And I'm only be able to get a 150.5 and a 150.1 at the headrest at 33 hertz on 2,600 watts clamps. So
That's not bad.
No, it's efficient. It takes up the whole car, but it sounds musical. The Street Series doors just sound phenomenal. I never ran, like full range door speakers before. I just ran like coaxials and components, it's simple stuff. And no, it's a balanced system, but it's like, I feel like now it's finally done, other than the new L7X18. Then it'll be done, and then something bigger.
So hold on. They're making an X18?
Yes. Yeah. For
Okay.
the new one of this here, this is the old 18. Yeah, because right now they're just 10, 12, 15. They will be coming out with the 18, and I heard a few talks about 8 and 6.5. I don't know if that's 100% sure, wink or not. Yeah, they got more stuff coming.
When is the 18 supposed to come out?
There's no public information on it yet. I know Kicker will tell everybody when it is available. If it was my guess, I would hope around Slamology time. It might be right after, whenever it gets released. I hope to have a brand new one for Slamology, to be able to show that off. And I don't know. It just, I want something that handles more power, because I run the 12 in my wife's car, and I had it on the same amp, but actually wired at half ohm instead of 1, and worse electrical, and it was just eating the power. Meanwhile, when I had it on my 18, the old one, it would start to get stinky, and it's just, I was doing damage. So it can definitely handle a lot more power than the old ones, even though that the old ones have a higher rating than the old ones, or
Right.
new ones,
Well, I
weird.
can't wait to see those the 18s in action, because every kicker, like the new version of the Solo X that I've seen, has been just absolutely impressive, because they really are SPL monster subs that play low. I mean, I would compare them to like the Sundown Z series, honestly.
I feel
They're
like,
very impressive.
right, the Z5, Z6 kind of, comparison, the prices there, the amount of just bore and stroke that you have, it's very similar. The power handling is very similar. And, I feel like that's not only their only competitor with that when they were designing it, but in a sense, yes, because people want to play below 40 hertz,
Yeah.
and you need something that has a lot of excursion, and you got to have it where it does handle the power well, but it has to be efficient too, because that's just how Kicker does it, and that's the big takeaway from it, where you can just do more with less. And, I love the Sundown stuff and all the other, Def Bounce and DD, and it all depends what you're trying to do. It's not that, Kicker's just the best thing out there, but they make things really good, and they make it in their way. And yeah, it'll definitely play below 40 hertz for sure.
I love the fact that Kicker is revamping a lot of their stuff now. Like, not a stab at Kicker at all, because I've ran Kicker in the past, and I think it's kind of a mandatory thing as a bass head. You got to have at least had a Kicker once in your life. And it's nice to see that they're coming around to the current scene of car audio and where technology has led car audio.
What's the craziest thing about that? I love hearing this stuff, because it's like, Kicker has always kind of been ahead on the curve, but I feel like now more so than ever, because of the other products that are coming out with the L7X, it's more in our group of 1%er bass heads, 160s, listening to rebass and stuff. It's just more pronounced, like, oh wait, look what Kicker's doing over there. And just like some of their older products, like their SX amplifier line, had built-in DSP, and these things are from 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
They're so old, you know, and they're always kind of ahead of a step, but you know, with the big stuff, they had to take a step back, and that was due to the I guess you would call recession of 2008. You know, gas prices went up to $4, all that fun stuff, and it was either get rid of the Warhorse, the Solo X line, or fire employees. And they just got rid of that. I mean, they did have to fire some employees eventually, but there was a lot that went into all of that, of the decision making. And now that it's back, it's cool, just so that you guys that are in that 1% can also see what Kicker's doing, because a lot of those guys ain't looking at Kicker because they're like, I don't want no Kicker comps, I don't want no 750 RMS driver, I want something bigger, you know. And now you get to look at everything else. Just look at it.
Right.
Just look at
I do want to bring up real quick, I think that we have lost streaming on my Facebook and YouTube, so I don't know if those will come back up or not. But if you watch this in the future, I apologize for that.
It's
I
also
believe we're still
available on
live.
my Facebook right now.
It's on Kalana's and on.
Good
I think we're still on yours, Andy, because we're getting comments coming through on you. So, but
cool. Hey, backup plan. Always need it. So this DJ Dirty Bass coupon code, is that during the streams that you have that that discount?
That is active every Tuesday, basically. So any day that we have a podcast show, that's active. So if you go to djdirtybass.com, Ashlyn, if you can pull that up real quick. I said if you pull that up real quick, the website.
Is that your wife in the background there?
She's working on getting that pulled up. But
I need to get Kayla in the studio to help me, I swear. Just an extra hand.
It's a big help sometimes to have Ashlyn in the background here.
Yeah, because it's hard to do the live stream and do anything else.
I think she's activating the code right now. I think we forgot to activate that earlier.
Oh,
but
okay, cool. Still,
once she gets that active, we're going to pull up the website. If you go to djdirtybass.com, go to the flash drive section. We have different options available. We have a 64 gig, 32 gig, 16 gig, and an 8 gig. So those all have different things on them. Most people get the 64, and we just added a option on the 64 for a miniature drive. Yep, Kalana's got one right there.
But these were the old ones,
and
I thought the one you gave me was small. That one's even smaller. Look at that thing.
It's really nice, actually, Andy,
but
because
so in these loud,
it falls out of the flash drive. This one solves.
Less weight on the end from the bass going ugga dugga dugga dugga. It ain't gonna fall out as easy. That's smart.
Yep.
So when's the next show you're going to be at, Andy?
As it's looking right now, probably Slamology. Well, TDH is coming up, and then Slamology. Those are the main two that I try to do, because we do Kicker giveaways every TDH show. I don't know if you even noticed that. I try to promote it as much as I can. In complete Kicker systems, back-to-back years.
To be honest, TDH last year was the very first TDH I have ever been to, and it was probably the best show. So in the beginning of the year, it was the best show. Then I went to Slam. That was the best show. But it's like your amusement park in your backyard versus Six Flags or something. They're like, it's great. Yeah.
It's great. Don't get me wrong.
Speaking of TDH, that's where I got to meet you for the first time in person, and it was kind of a funny situation. I know the build. I'm horrible with faces, so I know people's builds more than I know their faces and name. And you got in my build and got a demo, and as you got out, you said that you drive the blue car. And I was like, the Cookie Monster? And I was like, you're Cookie Monster? I thought it was hilarious.
It was epic. It was actually, I was live during that too. So if you guys seen that, or you can go back to the live stream at TDH, you'll see that actually happen real time. And that's the thing too, man. It's like, I know a person's car, their build, exactly what subwoofers and impedance they might have, but I don't remember their name. Like, like there's certain ones that stick, but it takes a while.
Yeah.
I'm
that
really
was
I'm
epic.
really bad with faces. I can see somebody 5 or 6 times and not know who they are. Like, because I won't recognize people's faces because I don't know. I don't really look at people's faces. I don't think I remember builds. Like, that's not a problem. But I mean, I'll be at a show and like I'll see the same person twice and they're like, oh, you talked to me earlier, and I was like, oh, yeah, because I don't remember faces that well, but
See, I remember
we
the
got
faces,
the,
but I'm like, what's up, bro? Like, I just name gone. Car audio and breathing. That's it. It's the only other room I got.
Eat, sleep, and breathe car audio.
Yes, it's terrible.
Yes.
But you got to keep learning with this stuff, man. You can't stay
You gotta
stagnant.
stay up to date.
Yeah. Yep.
If you missed one season, like, so when I first got into car audio, I did it for a long time. I got out of it, I think when I was like, what was I, 20? I stopped doing car audio, and I didn't get back into it until I was like 30. Yeah, 30. And
Wow.
then but now I came back into it with adult money and money
different.
to like spend on something that I really wanted. So and just that time being gone, when I got back into it, I had no clue what I was looking at anymore.
Right. So, I always feel like for me, it's like so hard to not listen to music loud. Like, I don't need this huge stereo like my entire life, but I always had it. And I know some people just get real heavy into it and then they just quit. Like, it's like, I threw my old underwear away, it's whatever. But like your story there kind of makes sense. Cause it's like, you get into it, you don't really know what you're doing. And then that can deter so many people from staying in the hobby. And then that's why I always try doing what I do, helping people out, give them the best stuff, just so it's like,
exactly.
okay,
Yep.
so you enjoy it, so you stay. Yeah.
Because if you don't help people out,
door speakers and stuff, but
if you're not helping people out, there's a lot of people that hate on people that are new to the game and don't know what they're doing. They act like they're stupid. You can't talk to people like that. You can't do that because those people are going to stop doing it because nobody's helping them. You got to help people out because, I mean, this is what keeps the hobby going. You got to give people tips and help people, because, I mean, we know everything about this because we've been competing in it. So like all 3 of us, we've been competing, we've been doing it, we've been doing our installs. If we're not helping people out, then who's going to be doing it in the future? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So.
And I don't know why some people are like that. I feel like it's just maybe that high school bully mentality where it's like, now that I know what I know, I'm better than you and I'm not going to help you get there. And I understand that halfway. It's like, I didn't have help for the longest time and I was kind of stagnant with what I was doing. And then I just started to like reach out to people and watch what they were doing and learn myself. But I should be the person. It's like, well, I don't want to help anybody because nobody helped me for the longest time. But it's like the opposite. It's like, I want to help somebody because I didn't have anybody to help me. And I would have been doing so much more if I would have had just a hand to help, and
it's the same with me too. Like growing up doing car audio in the beginning, we didn't have YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. There was nothing like that for us to share this kind of information. And so I would try to hang out at stereo shops, and a lot of times they were like the OG guys and they didn't want to share the information and stuff like that. So I went to the library and did a lot of like MECP books and like learning 12-volt electrical systems.
Yeah.
And,
wow. Yeah.
And when I came back into it and I had some questions about some of this newer technology, like car amp, smart series, things like this, things that didn't exist, like, or that weren't super existent out back then, I got met with a lot of what you guys were talking about. A lot of that, you're a noob, we don't want to help you. And so I started my TikTok. That's where I started doing my own research and learning things and then sharing this information with everybody. Here's how to tune an amplifier. Here's what a multimeter is. Things like that. Use these.
And you have, like, your TikTok has a very loyal fan base. Like I see your videos and in the comments section, it's the same people every time, and it's awesome. Like
That's-
Yeah.
I try to do that, you know,
It's
but I
community.
don't have a lot of time
Shout
to
out the following on
to
TikTok. You guys
post.
are awesome.
That's how I found you.
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah, that's how I
was like-
found Andy too.
It's like, oh, look
Yeah.
at this guy. What's he doing? Oh,
TikTok
man.
has brought the community together, to be honest. I mean, Facebook has a giant community as well, and I love the Facebook community. But TikTok is an overwhelmingly positive community. I'm not saying that Facebook isn't, but
No,
I
yeah,
find
they both have their pros and cons, and I feel like it is different. Facebook, whenever I got involved with Facebook, that's really what got me like involved on the social media side of things, and it's like it was a dog eat dog world. TikTok, I feel like
Mhm.
people are getting more mature nowadays, where it's not cool to be mean, and there's a
Mhm.
lot more, I would say, younger people on TikTok compared to Facebook.
Yep.
You got more of the I've been doing this for 30 years guys on Facebook. Just saying.
But the thing is, a lot of those guys in the 30 years haven't learned anything new. So but
And that's where you have to keep right.
keep,
Right.
you
And-
got to keep up to date, as we were saying earlier. Like, think about 10 years ago, lithium wasn't a thing. So, I mean, it was,
Not
but it
how it
wasn't.
is with car audio.
It
not
wasn't
at all.
huge in car audio, and everybody had like 1,000 pounds of batteries in the back of their vehicles, and now we have a 50-pound lithium battery running a 30,000 watt system, which
I
is
know,
crazy.
It is. It is.
But-
And that's the thing, man. Whenever I got into it, I was just putting lead acids in the back of my car. I didn't
Mhm.
care. I'm like, I just need more power. And then it's like, okay, I'll
Yep.
try AGMs. I'll put 4 in here. Why isn't my voltage staying at 14 volts? And it's like, you need either lithium or you need high output alternator, keep it up there. And it's just, it's always a battle, but it's crazy how far we've come with technology, with batteries alone, power
Right.
of amplifiers too. As
Oh, yeah.
these woofers get bigger, we need more power, and it's just become so cheap. Whenever I got into car audio, it wasn't $1 a watt, but it was still expensive. It was like $350 for like a 1,000 watt amp, maybe.
I
Maybe.
remember when they had the JL 1000/1, and I walked into the shop and they were like, $1,000, please. And I was like, no, thanks. I'll take that Pioneer
I
that
didn't.
you have
Yeah,
over there.
I didn't have JL money. No, I was messing with
Yeah,
like
definitely
Kenwood, a little bit Alpine Type S's, Infinity reference, and just Sony Explodes. Of course, Sony Explodes. Who?
I had the square, not square, but the octagon shaped Sony Explode.
Yeah.
Black one,
Oh, the 1,300 watts. I think those are the ones that I had too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
the 1,300-watt ones.
Yes.
I remember those
actually-
being in Walmart, but
Yeah,
Yep.
and Walmart
it
had
was
a
from
display
Walmart.
too. And there's one around me. It's not super close, but I did find one around me, and they actually still have a working display with a subwoofer in it.
oh
I'm
wow,
like, I got to play some test tones here. This is gonna be great. Because you can actually tap into the head unit and stuff. But
Yeah, a lot of those head units now have Bluetooth, so it's super easy to play your music on.
It's
Yeah.
funny. It's funny you bring that up. I was doing an install for my buddy Nate, and he got a Kicker Comp Q and an 800.1, and then we got this head unit for free off a worker of mine's brother, and all it needed was the pigtail. And I'm like, oh, it's Kenwood. This is nice. It's got 4-volt pre-out. It's got all kinds of stuff. It's like 3-band EQ, but it's got crossovers for front, rear, and subwoofer. Pretty much everything you need for free. And I'm installing this thing, and I'm like, okay, everything works. It's good. It needs a separate ground. Your car doesn't have the ground wire in the T-line or the T-harness and stuff. And I'm turning this thing on, and I'm like, okay, where's the Bluetooth? There's no Bluetooth on this thing. I'm like, dude, this thing is a dinosaur. It's
You
a
remember the old
dinosaur.
school Dolphin decks that used to have a Bluetooth adapter that you have to plug into it to get
Oh, wow.
Bluetooth?
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, you could do one of those little 3.5, the Bluetooth, but that's still a hassle. You know what I mean? You got to keep that
Yeah.
thing charged, and goodness. But it works, still.
Well,
It's-
just on the Bluetooth topic alone, I mean, back in the day, Bluetooth was a horrible audio quality to use. And I think nowadays I keep hearing more and more people are using Bluetooth as their transmission to play their music into their systems. And I think Bluetooth technology has come a long way nowadays, and it might be more
It
of a
has.
viable option.
It's
Yep.
not the worst. I mean, it's the same thing of like, watching a video or listen to music on YouTube versus, even an MP3 or, a CD file or anything like a bigger file that's not compressed. And I feel like the compression on Bluetooth has gotten better. And whenever you have a system like what we have, like over 150, it's almost like doesn't really make a huge difference. because it's like you can't even hear the indifferences too much, or the compression, because it's so loud your ear can't perceive the inaccuracies of it. I know a lot of those SQ guys will be like, yeah, Bluetooth is the worst, because when you get down to it, yeah, it kind of is, but for what we listen to, how we use it, I don't think there's a noticeable difference. Like, you can if you got a trained ear and the right system, but in your normal 140 dB up in system, I don't think it's going to be a night and day difference between running Bluetooth of what they have today compared to, just a hardwired connection. Of course, there might be able to hear a difference. There's going to be that guy out there. I can hear the difference between A, B, and D. I mean, maybe.
I tune my amp with my ear.
Hey, I still do that sometimes too. Don't knock it, man. Don't knock it.
That's how we did it back in the day. If you heard the rails, like, you just listen for the rails to buzz, and then when the rails stop buzzing, you're set.
Ooh, yeah, a little piezo tweeter in there or something like that. I was showing Nate when I put together a system. I was like, listen, here, this is clipping. Pulled it back, and he's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, yeah, you can actually hear it. It's like probably 4% THD.
Oh, you got even fancier with it. We used to just put our ear up to the amp and listen to the voltage rails.
Oh, wow.
And if it stopped humming,
I never did that.
All good.
That's crazy. I mean, I know when I do these amp dynos, I can hear them kind of start screaming for life. They're like, help me, like making noises. Can't. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight, man. All my guys are hanging out with us. SJC, Garrick, Shoop Dog, of course. And man, you guys are awesome. Cracker. Of course, we got Cracker in here. And make sure you guys watch the show tonight. We got 2 shows tonight. I know, I'm like 3 shows. Oh my God, I'm going to die. We got Kicker Unmasked tonight at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. And then I'm after that. They're going to be showing off the new Kicker products, but I might as well talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
They have L7X enclosures coming. I'm excited because you buy the L7X. What do you do with it? You got to build your own enclosure. Now they're going to have that option for 1 and 2.
Are they going to be reminiscent of the old school wedge-shaped ones with the big arrow port on the bottom?
This one is pretty nice. It has I could bring it up. Let me see if I can connect here. It has a Solo X logo. It's just a curve port on the single one. It is curved. It's I think 1.5 inch thick Baltic birch. It's the same kind of style. If you've ever seen a Kicker quad box, they have that version with 2 Solo X 12s into it. And then they have a single version, same thing, curved port, but no little arrow port. I do like those though. They used to have them on all of them. Now it's just the Kicker comp has the arrow port, and everything else has just a regular, square port, which the arrow ports are nice, just for, I guess you want to say more efficiency of the air traveling through. But when it comes down to physics, I mean, as long as you got enough port area, I don't think it's going to be a night and day difference between a square and a circle. But they do look awesome. And they, for mouths, for Cookie Monster and shoving cookies in there, they're awesome.
I still remember the first day I seen
What made you decide to do Cookie Monster? What was your influence for that?
It kind of just happened overnight where I built an enclosure. It was actually the first one. It wasn't the entire car, and it actually fit behind the back seats. That was original Cookie Monster, but it didn't have all the everything that it has now. And it was just a regular stained box, and it looked great. Well, my trunk started to leak, and my veneer was all messed up. And I'm like, dude, I didn't even get to finish this box. It looks good, but now I got a stain mark on it. Not from actually staining, just water damage. And I'm like, man, this sucks. I need to carpet this box now, because it's okay. It just, the color was off. And I was like, well, I like blue and I like shag. Went to Joann Fabrics, shagged it up. And then I was at the same time just starting to talk to Kicker, through their social media on Facebook. And Bill Braun at the time, I didn't know who he was. I just thought he was Kicker. And I was like, oh, look at the new carpet that I have on my box. And he was like, wow, that looks like something that Cookie Monster would have. And that's how it stuck. And then
Awesome.
It just evolved and took over the entire car.
It's very unique. It stands out at a show. It stands out in videos. It's definitely something you don't miss in photos and videos.
Thanks, man. And I can't take all the credit. My wife shagged that entire car. The entire car. Seth did my fiberglass doors, but everything up here, it's like, I want it here, I want it there, and add in some speakers into the dash where like the air vents are, like just because I needed more sound in front of me, not just on the side. And it came together very well, and it works great. And I got a 320 amp alternator from Ohio Generator up front. I got a Superbank capacitor battery under the hood, which I highly recommend if you're ever thinking about mixing lithium with AGM and all that other stuff and battery delete. Grab one of those. It's going to help your electrical, and you don't have to worry about chemistries. And then in the back, I got some very old JY HP40s. I got them before they came out from Travis Young. I know he just got a brand new JY HP45 coming out in 2025, so that'll be cool to see. But just 2 of those in the back, and it does not sweat with whatever I'm clamping on there. It's only like anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 watts I've had on that car, and the electrical keeps up. And that's the whole point of whenever you have a system. You want it to stay at like 13, 14 volts, full tilt boogie the whole time, because your equipment's going to thank you in the long run.
Right. The strong electrical is definitely important. And that build, I mean, it looks awesome. I love a theme build. I don't know if you've seen Ashland's or not, but her whole build is Hello Kitty.
What? That's awesome.
Yeah.
My
so we've
daughter
got
would love that.
dude, little kids take pictures with it all day long. Every time it's at a show, like little girls pointing, they're like, "Oh, can I take a picture with it?" It's really funny. But we have 4 Audio Ace Joker 15s in it on a JP43 at 1 ohm, and it does a 153.6. So I mean, that's fairly good, I think.
No, it ain't bad at all.
But I mean, but we're happy with it. So, but I mean, she wanted Hello Kitty. I was like, I'm a dealer for Audio Ace, so I wanted to put Audio Ace products in it, and that it's doing pretty well. So I told her
Audio Ace,
we'd
that's
make her
the guy you had on last week, and he won.
Yes, yep.
What was it, like craziest
Deadlist.
demo at Slamology? Yeah,
Deadlist demo at Slam. Yeah.
That's crazy, because I know between him and Jace, it was a tight race. They're both stupid loud, 6 feet away. I think they're doing like 45, 6 feet away. It's like incredible. Like,
I got
take that to the lanes, you're winning.
I got in clockwork at Ruckus, and I will tell you that it literally was sucking the breath out of my lungs. It was crushing my rib cage and that thing.
Yep.
And
those subs, the Audio Ace subs, man, they're efficient. I mean, I love them. I'll stand by them. I'll preach about them all day, because I mean, we're running them in our own builds. But if you want Audio Ace, you can get them at djdirtybass.com. We have financing available, as you can see on the banner up here.
Hey,
but
you gotta have that financing, man. It's like, well, I can pay for it in the next 6 months. I'm getting me some subwoofers.
Right.
Bad.
I don't think my audio addiction would exist if it didn't have financing available.
I know. It's like, just put on credit, more kicker stuff. Well, I need wire, I need a new build. Good God, it's always something, man. Power wire.
It adds up quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It adds up real quick. Because a lot of people, I mean, me included, like I'll look at the price of the sub and I'll be like, oh, that's not that bad. And then I'll think, oh, well, I need 50 foot of wire, and that's $200 there or $270 there. And, got to have the box, you got to have your RCA cables, head unit, all that. It adds up quick.
It does. It's like starting from scratch is like the hardest thing, because you got to do everything, and you don't think about it. You look at the sub, you look at the amp, and you're like, okay, whatever. And it's so hard to even have like 150 dB system for under $4,000, because you need batteries, you need to upgrade everything else, and then you're talking mechanical work to your car, and
right.
It's fun. That's why I'm like kind of like sketched out about doing another build right away, because I want to do the Volvo. I have a Volvo 960. That's next on the list of, an audio build. But I'm going to use it as a YouTube vehicle specific, kind of like how Parker uses his one car for just all SPL tests. I want to have that, because every other car that I have has a system in it. I have obviously Cookie Monster here. My wife's car got an L7X12, but I'm not leaving her car half unwired, because I did a YouTube video on a different box and a different sub. And then I got the Honda Pilot that's got the quad box, the kicker quad box that has 4 L7R12s. It's their prefab, and it's a 150 dB build, and it's in our family car. And family car. Enough said. Needs something for the YouTube.
That Volvo 960, man, that would be a.
I know
Looking
it's
at
a
those
wagon
cars.
too, and it's it's big. I'm used to dealing with this small little car here. That box is only 10 cubes, but it takes up the whole thing.
So you're going
It's
to
like,
just use it for a testing vehicle. You're not going to decide, hey, let's wall this thing with a
for
bunch of
now.
kicker.
I say this now, for now. But if it does become anything, it's going to become Big Bird. That's what's happening.
Bro,
That'd be
that
awesome,
would be
dude.
that's super cool. I think you
I
should
would-
do
I
the
would-
paint it yellow.
wire.
I would love to see, you do like maybe 6 of those new Solo X18s in there, see what it does.
That's what I want to do is it's like I want to do a 6 order, but everyone's like, 6 orders are great, but you got to do them right. And they're not all, whatever. Just
Put it in a
4
fourth.
18s minimum because of cubic air
Yep.
feet. I mean, if I could do 6, I'd do 6. I'd do 9 like EXO if I could. Just need a huge freaking vehicle for that. But that's what I want to do. Something that's a 160. It's like 160 or bust for like a system that big. It's like, yeah. But I know Kicker will be able to do it long as I do the enclosure correctly. I got the rest covered, so we'll be okay.
Right.
I'm just stoked on the idea of Big Bird, dude. That's super cool.
I know,
I like
like
that
I have
idea.
to, because it's like so many times I'm like, man, I wish I had a black and yellow kicker build. You know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah.
Big Bird.
And
That's
you already
their
got
colors,
Cookie Monster,
Yeah,
Sesame Street theme all the way.
That's a no-brainer there. Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
future plans, of course, because right now I still rent. I have this entire house, but we rent, and I want to make sure that I have enough money to buy a full house, and then it's full tilt boogie big system, because then I'll have the money for it, and priorities.
Right.
Damn priorities.
They
Most
always get
base
in the
heads
way,
aren't-
man. Always.
Most base heads aren't very good at priorities. It's some people it's system first and then life later, but
Yeah,
it's kind of like an addiction, honestly, man, because
a good one,
it's
but an
well,
addiction.
yeah, it's more expensive than a drug addiction, but
I'd rather buy subwoofers and
Ain't
eat
that the
ramen for a
truth? I mean,
week.
those guys got it easy.
not necessarily. But
The thing with it though, it's like once you invest the money into it, you can just get in your car anytime and just turn it up.
Exactly.
It's as long as you take care of it, it's something that you're going to have. It's an investment. It's what it is. It's an investment.
It's like a way out for me. Like it's like my release. Like if I'm having a bad day at work or just a bad day in general, like I get in my base ride and I can just go. I don't really drive it. So I'll just go find a place to park it and I'll just sit and just bump music for like a little while. I usually come home feeling a lot better. So it's like therapy in a sense.
Base therapy
base
is
therapy, yeah.
1,000,000% thing, man. And it's I would love to see some kind of like science video where it's like, it just triggers these chemicals in your brain when you're listening to just bass and what it does to your body, because it's real, man. It doesn't need to be a 150 160 dB build. It just needs to be music that sounds good and makes your hair stick up just a little bit. It's something about it. It's what got
So
me.
are you
and
going to
drew me into it.
design the enclosure for, I'm going to just call it Big Bird. Are you going to design the enclosure
yeah.
for Big Bird or?
I've only
You're gonna have
designed
somebody else
one
do it.
other bandpass enclosure, and it did okay. I probably will have some help on that. Cookie Monster, I 1000% designed myself. It had a few iterations on it. I actually had it hooked up for like the SPL burp. I just made the port a little bit shorter, Right now it's just demo mode, and it does a 150.5 as it sits. But yeah, I want to get to the point where it's like I can get someone's information on stuff and get a good basis of what the enclosure can do with the amount of space that I have, and leave myself a ton of room, because I see so many people that have bandpass enclosures of just like a wall, and it's like, my speakers are unloading and this and that. It's like, man, you got to go in there kind of like how Kyle did, where there is no loading wall. It's just you got that, and then you adjust and tune it and tweak it to how you want, because I don't care what software you're using, you won't really for sure find out how it's going to react till you put it in the car.
Yep.
Well, I know my buddy TJ. He's got an enclosure that was designed by SDK Enclosures, and I think you might be familiar with who that
oh,
is.
yeah, Mr. Jake
There, right.
SDK, man.
There you go. And
He
he's
is
got
the
a
man.
6th order in an Impala, which when I first seen it, thought it was a 4th because of the way the ports come out the side. And it was very impressive. So I think that guy does pretty damn good work from what I've seen so far.
Absolutely. He between me, him, and all the guys on hanging out on the Discord and stuff, designed the L7X enclosure that's actually in my wife's car. Because it's like I needed something a little bit shorter because I'm in a hatchback. We got 2 matching cars. Me and my wife, we both have Eclipses. When I met her, she had the Eclipse. So it's like a small trunk, can't take up the whole back seat. So Jake hooked me up and we designed a custom one for that, close to what Kicker recommended, but we tweaked it a few degrees and made the port a little bit longer, tuned a little bit lower, but you know, it works good and he does awesome work. And I know he's not really doing too much of the custom stuff unless it's a huge build, like the one that you've seen, because he likes doing that. He just built one for a truck for SEMA, so he knows a thing or two. Definitely does.
Somebody commented that a Volvo with 815s would be ungodly. So,
you know, I feel like 815s would probably fit better than the 618s with airspace, but I can't change from an 18. Like, it's just, if I'm going big build, it's 18 or nothing. It's just
and the square 18s, they have the same cone area as about a 21-inch sub, don't they?
Yep, give or take. Yep. It's like a little bit over 20 inches of effective cone area, or not effective cone area, but just surface area, 324. But you know, I just want to run the 18 just because I've been running this 18 since 2012. Like in that car.
It's a long time.
It's a long time. So it's like, I'm like, I got this 15 over here. I like it. I like the 12s. But it's like, if I'm going big build, it's got to be with the 18s, even though I might sacrifice a thing or two here. But yeah.
I can feel you on that because I'm switching from 18s to 15s, and I feel a little apprehensive about it just because I like the way an 18 sounds. But I think with my situation, more cone area is just going to prevail on that one.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little subjective because there's always that where people are like, oh, the 18s hit the lows and the 10s are punchy, and like, not really, but kind of. You know, they have like a natural higher resonant frequency for like a smaller woofer, you know, less weight, whatever. And you know, so the 18s can inherently dig down deeper, you know, a little bit easier, but so many freaking variables, it's not even funny. That's why I don't compare really woofers, because it's like impossible to do so. And we just lost Kaluna. And
yeah, we did.
Oh no. And well, we can look at Cookie Monster and take a look at it. I forget what I was saying. I got distracted. This is what happens.
We were talking about resonant frequencies of
oh yeah, with the 18s and the 15s.
Don't know what happened.
I don't think you're going to notice a huge difference going from the 18 to the 15s. You know, it might be a little bit punchier. Are you keeping the same like clamshell, not clamshell, but same, you know, wall, just switching out different subs in the new panel in the front there?
No, he's I don't know if he can hear you.
Oh,
but
no, sorry. I'm so sorry. My mic was not working.
Gotcha.
What did you ask, Andy?
Are you keeping the same shell? You're just changing the baffle, right? Because yours is like a not a flat wall. Is yours a flat wall? Yeah, yours is
a flat wall top port. But what I'm actually going to be doing is doing a 4th order rear window. I guess you can call it a blow through or a walk through. I think either one will work. But through the rear window, and I'm keeping the shell of the enclosure that's in there now. I'm just taking the baffle off.
Moving it back and then making it a blow through into the cabin. The only thing with blow throughs, make sure that port is big enough, because that in a sense becomes your new speaker. That thing, you know, because fourth orders, any kind of band pass, and then your flat wall, like you got your speakers there and your port. That's why people love flat walls. They get really loud. You don't need a ton of power on them because, you know, the port acts like a speaker. It's an infinite speaker in a way, and, you know, works differently as the frequencies change and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I definitely am trying to keep the shell though, because I have suicide doors on the Canyon, and they flap like nobody's business. When I had a no wall in there, it was crazy. And I'm trying right now, it's solid in there and it's preventing the rear doors from flapping. So I'm hoping with 615s, I keep it in there, it'll help still curb that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I had
the
that
doors
problem
slapping
with
look cool.
I had that problem with my F-150 because as I don't know if Andy, if you've seen that build, but I had
No.
4 Sundown XV215s on 2 JP43s a half ohm.
Ooh.
But it did a 155 at like, I think it did a 155 at 32. And
Nice.
just whenever I played lows, because it would play down to 22, but the door moved so much. And
Jeez.
even with it latched, like you could see it moving and stuff like a lot. And I ended up breaking the latch assembly on that truck twice.
Wow.
And
I
it
feel
was
every vehicle's different too. Like you could have like the same kind of system in there and you put it in a Honda Civic and it's just going to be ripping the roof right out. The window's going to be flexing so much more. I've been kind of lucky with the Eclipse because like when I have the build with the Pilot, when I first put it in there, I'm like, oh my God, everything is flexing. Everything is vibrating really bad compared to any other build that I had. And it's just the integrity of the vehicle. I know that's the worst thing because once you start bracing something, then you might not be able to play as low, you know,
Right.
because you're strengthening the rigidness, I guess the word I'm looking for.
Sometimes your
Making it more
vehicle will
rigid.
act as a passive radiator. It'll actually
Bingo.
help a lot.
Bingo.
that's
Might
that's how my
unload, but
F-150 was. Yeah.
Yep.
It breathes.
Looks cool on video too, man. I mean,
Speaking of the fact that you just said that you drive an Eclipse and
Yeah.
you have kicker in it, was it the Eclipse that came stock with the Rockford subwoofer in it?
It did not, unfortunately. Neither of ours had the premium sound.
Okay.
I've heard them though. I've heard
Yeah,
them.
I remember them coming with them sometimes.
Yeah, a little, I think it was like an 8 or a 10 in the back there, Rockford Fosgate. I think they called it a 600 some watt, you know, radio. And whenever I used to sell cars, they had one and I wanted to listen to it. And I'm like, it's okay, but it's all right. It would have made more wiring things.
I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car for a while and they had them, and every time I had to take them around, I would bump the living crap out of them just because.
Yeah.
Did they sound good from the factory? Like was it actually loud?
With the premium Rockford Fosgate, yeah, it was okay. I would say like any kind of like Dodge Dre Beats had more bass, but I feel like Dre Beats is known for that. The JBL systems that I've heard, they're more on the SQ side of things, which is kind of
What's going
crazy
on,
because you know those
Josh?
JBL Extremes are pretty bass heavy. But
There's Mr.
wasn't
Daly
bad.
right there that we were talking about earlier with the
The
crazy
wind tunnel.
winds.
That he has the one with the 5 SDDNs, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, dude, I said in that thing is super windy. Yeah.
Dude,
I
that
love
thing was
that demo.
floating. That thing was floating babies, bro.
He's always been playing a lot of wasted information, and you know it's like when I first met him, Cookie Monster was doing kind of windy stuff like that in the same category, but like he was way windier, with his Ford Focus, and then he got that car and then added another woofer, and it's just literally a hurricane coming out of there. Now Josh is awesome, love him to death.
Let's
Local
talk
guy
about
here.
let's talk about the term wasted information for a second.
Touchy.
The origin of that came from Kicker. So have they played into that a little bit now?
Absolutely. With the Kicker Bronco, you actually see on the back, it says wasted information on it.
That's
you
awesome.
know,
Yeah.
With Aaron, whenever he's the guest on Unmasked, he'll say it once in a while, but Aaron's actually the guy that said it back in 2013 at CES, and he's the same guy that married us at Kicker too. Aaron is a straight up guy. Love him to death. And he wasn't absolutely wrong either, because the way he was talking about it was with motorcycle audio. If you think about motorcycle audio, you don't really, you can put a subwoofer on it, but there's no way to emphasize the bass. It has nothing to, reflect off of other than the ground. When you have your car, you got walls.
Yeah. It'd be literally impossible to pressurize anything below 40 hertz. So yeah, that does make sense.
And it was kind of a misstep, but at the same time, even before he told me that, I'm like, you know what? I don't think he's 100% wrong, because it's like, it is kind of wasted information. It's like, it's not music at that point. It is wind, and it's amazing. It's just a whole nother factor of just audio, and a lot of music that you listen to, unless it's rebased from you or other guys, it just doesn't have that frequency in it. But yeah, I don't know about full information.
I can actually comment on the science, or not really science, just the way that music's produced behind that. Because whenever I pull in a song, I have seen frequencies as low as 20 hertz in standard music, but it's always synthetic. So basically, what I mean by that is it's kind of not quite a square wave, quite a square wave, but like kind of a jagged type wave to make it sound like it's the frequency, but it's not really,
That's crazy.
So
like a jigsaw or ripsaw, I forget what they call it.
That's a way that they get bass to sound lower in songs without it actually being lower. But whenever you read it with the program, it says 20 hertz. I can't remember what that song was. It was some Eminem song that had that fake 20 hertz in it.
You know what? And that's what I hate with some music. It's like I call it fake bass. It's not. Yep. It's like almost not distorted, but it almost sounds like it. It's like, okay, it sounds good in your 6x9s and your Nissan Altima, but it does not sound good in any of my systems. I'm sorry. Maybe that's why.
That's what rebase music is for, or one of the things rebase music is for, because I go in and I clean that up. Like I take that out and I put, what it's supposed to sound like. And, it's just, there is definitely a market for it. Because, I mean, you go to a show and everybody's playing rebase music. And a lot of the allure to it, I think, is because you can demo and listen to the songs that you like and it sound good in your system. Because like take most country, for example, or rock. I mean, they have bass, but it's not like rebased. It's not like people want that bass that you hear in like pop and like modern rap and stuff like that, but that's not in every type of music,
Nope.
So what I try to do is that I try to take, a song and I try to make it sound like it was supposed to be there, like the bass was supposed to be there. I try to make it sound right. I don't just put tones over everything. I try to make it sound like it's supposed to,
Right. Go with the music and, just lower the octave in a way, but you're also adding bass in there. So the system that we have that's mostly woofers, sounds really good. And that's the thing. Whenever I go to Slamology and stuff, you don't see me playing rap and hip hop that normally has bass, even though it's rebased. I'm playing the oldies, the 80s, the rock music, the stuff that normally doesn't have bass in it because it's like, one, this song is awesome. And two, you probably never heard it with bass. And three, it's just, it works with the system and it sounds good, and I'm boogieing. I'm like, they're like, why are you playing this song? I'm like, cause it sounds amazing in here. It's like the weirdest stuff.
That's why a lot of the songs I've had Zach rebase for me are some weird, obscure songs. They're not necessarily hip hop and rap songs. But to me, with bass, they sound really good in the vehicle.
I've done some really off-the-wall songs, and one of them was the Gummy Bear song I did for you, Kalana.
The Gummy Bear song is actually
I think that's what you were playing whenever I was sitting in your car, too.
I think I gave you a Gummy Bear demo. Yeah, that song, it actually, the dips and valleys in that song are really nice. They sound really good.
I like how you have non-explicit music on your USB, too. That's very important for a lot of people, especially me. It's like, I don't want to be playing, F this, F that when a little 8-year-old sitting in the car, or getting in.
A few of those songs that I've had Zach redo for me, like the Narwhal song and a few other songs that were specifically because when kids get into the build, I'd like to play some sort of a kid-friendly song so that I'm not that guy playing that super vulgar stuff for the kids. I know they're going to hear it anyways walking around the show because we all play it, but during their demo, I'd like to give them something.
Right.
And I do have, Baby Shark, I did Baby Shark, but I do have a pack called the Clean Pack on both my subscription, starts at $5 a month, djdirtybase.com, on my subscription and my flash drive. It's called the Clean Pack, but it's like 400 songs, and they are all free of cuss words, basically. I need to update that because I've not updated it since pack in 12, I think, and we're on N24 right now. But But yeah, I need to update that. But
Yeah, because isn't there
I like
some
to have that option.
orgs
Yeah.
out there that don't let you play tracks with swear words in them?
Mecca, yeah, for like
Yeah.
Park and Pound and stuff. Yeah, if you first time I competed, I think I was playing Hypnotized or something, one of his tracks, and yeah, they were like DQ, DQ, DQ. I'm like, what? And they're like, you can't have it. It was like the N word. I'm like, ah, come on, this is the song that it sounds good in here, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have rebase tracks, and it's just you got to keep it clean. And that's the thing, man, because it's like a lot of bass heads are bringing their kids to the shows. I bring my kids to Slamology, not really the local shows, but whenever I was running my own with Team SP Loud for 6 years, I absolutely did. And you got to, you don't want to foul their ears up too much. It's going to happen anyway, but you don't want to be the one to do it.
Yeah,
exactly. Yep. We are about an hour and 15 minutes in. So if anybody has questions for me, Kalana, or Andy, feel free to ask questions. I know we're not, unfortunately, my YouTube and Facebook never came back up. So hopefully,
of course,
get...
Daly has the Barney song at 16 hertz.
Barney, good one.
Somebody said, where can we buy that? I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Your USB stuff.
DJDirtyBass.com. And if you use code BassDrop up here in the banner, you'll save 20% today or, any Tuesday, anytime we do the podcast.
And any other day of the week, if you want to use my name, you can see it right here. I give you some money off as well.
Oh, look at that.
Awesome. I'm all about savings, man. There's always some kind of code active on the website. You just got to know about them, find them, know where to go to get them. But like I said, we also have the 64 gigabyte is $50. I think with the code it would be $40 plus tax. Shipping's free.
He's got these new ones.
Yep.
Little
same
mini
price
ones.
For now. Same price.
Into perspective, these were the old ones.
I know that is so tiny. I can't get over that. Just don't want to lose it, but it won't fall out of your head unit. Just keep it in there.
It's got a spot on it that you can thread a lanyard through it if you want.
We're actually going to get
snap.
We're going to get some little keychains to put on them.
That's
so
smart.
People will be able to order those. It'll be like I'll probably do like $1 extra for that. But
still, no, you don't want to lose that thing. And no, it's awesome that you're making that music and you keep on doing it. You said you've been doing it for 12 years. It's like I know some like Decaf. I don't know if he's still making music. I don't know if Got 160s is still making music. Obviously, DJ Rusticles, DJ Siren, and maybe DJ Slow and Throw. Is he still doing stuff?
Is Siren still making stuff?
I'm
not super often, but she still does. I know she was gonna quit. I don't know. At one point, that's Nicole. She's crazy.
DJ Slow and Throw. I've not seen anything from him for a long time. That's one of the ones that I used to listen to. He made pretty good stuff. Decaf. I think Decaf came out with a pack a month or two ago. Of course, Rusticles always makes stuff. And then I upload every day. So if you subscribe, it's only $5 a month. You'll get a new song every day.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah. Every single day I post a song. Yes. Yes, I am. This is the new pack. Ashlyn just pulled this up. This is the new pack that we just finished. Pack N24. The N stands for new because I have a lot of people ask me that. I took a break for like 3 years whenever we bought our house. I got married. But I came back. So anything that's labeled N is a new pack since then. But this is our newest one. N24. Just uploaded it in its completion yesterday. I don't remember.
I mean, I talk to you on a daily, and I still don't even know all these songs that were just in here. I'm seeing them for the first time right now.
But if you order a flash drive tonight, it'll be on, or anytime in the future, it will be on there along with everything else on the 64s anyway. So.
That's awesome that you do the 20% off every Tuesday for, buying the flash drives, buying anything on your website. I love that you do that. And Garrick here brings up a really good point. And I feel like this is a niche that somebody needs to hit. If you would hit it, that would be awesome. That's it right there.
I've
tried to rebase and I'm terrible at it. I have one. Christian music. It's just not rebased. There's B-Shock, but it's not rebased. It's just, kind of rap Christian music. We need that. We need that.
I can't remember the songs. I've done some Rare of Breed, some Anth. Let's see. I can't remember. But I've got probably 10 or 15 different Christian songs that I've done.
This is a good point because I have a friend
more.
named Ronnie who is a diehard Christian music guy. He actually sings and makes his own Christian rock and rap music, and he is even looking for Christian music. That's been
right, because it's like when you're driving to church, what do you want to listen to? I
actually have a few friends who are looking for it, so that way they can introduce their kids to it too.
I'll have to go through and actually make a playlist and put on the subscribers, because I do have people ask for that every once in a while for Christian music. So I may just make a playlist and put it in its own folder for the people that want that. And if you want Christian music done, I don't really know what bands to do it, because I don't listen. Honest, just to be completely honest, I don't listen to a lot of Christian music. But if you request it, $25 a song, use that code BASSDROP, you can save 20%. But you can request those songs and we can get them done in the flash drive section on the website.
Custom songs for $25. I mean, I know it sounds like a lot, but that's your own song. I want it 30 to whatever kind of range ish, and he'll make it for you. That's awesome.
I make it specific for your system. You choose the frequency range, you choose your peak frequency, the song and artist, and I can do pretty much anything. Fast paced rock is pretty hard to do. I usually ask for a different song on those. But if I can't do it, I will either refund your money or ask for a different song. But I actually sell more custom rebases than I do anything. Like I do custom edits every single day. Like one day I had it was a Thursday, like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I had 13 songs ordered. There's been times I've had to put them out of stock just to catch up. I mean, that's
a good thing.
Yeah, we do a lot of those. We do a lot of those. So
wow.
If you want,
who doesn't want a custom song? Tailored to your system, and that's awesome that you do that, because I know it's a lot just to make music in general and live a life.
It was super helpful for my build, that's for sure, because I can't really play anything below 26, and a lot of the music from a lot of the other rebasers, I was having a hard time finding a lot of the songs that I wanted within my frequency range. So when I found Zach, I was like, hey man, you make some custom songs, let's get this going.
I need 27 hertz, not 26. Trust me, there's a difference.
I need at least 1 hertz above my lowest.
I know, it's nuts. It's nuts.
It's like the difference between, in Ashland's car, the difference between 25 and 26 is pretty noticeable, because 26 pressurizes very well, but 25 it just kind of it's just not there.
Josh, this is why they call me Mr. Mid-Bass, my guy.
The mid-bass.
Hopefully with this rebuild, you won't be Mr. Mid-Bass anymore, though.
I'll still play the mid-bass music, though.
I don't know. I feel like mid-bass is now like the 20s. It used to be the 40s. Now it's the 20s. Low bass is the 10s. And then wasted information is under 10. It's like the race to zero. It's like, who can play 1 hertz,
My favorite is 28, 38. Those are my favorite frequencies.
I feel like a lot of builds are like that. Just that range.
There is one person. There's one person that I know of that can play 1 hertz, and that's Jay Janelle. If you've never seen his videos, he has 2 stereo integrity. Yeah, he has 2 stereo integrity 24s, and
kind of thing.
He's had videos, and that his door literally goes like this at 1 hertz. It's crazy. It's insane. It's weird, but my preferred frequency range, honestly, would be 23 to 45 at about 155 decibels. That's what I like. I don't like the super loud
normal range. Normal range. because most builds can dip down to like 25, 26, but you're kind of pushing. I mean, with like a wall with a band pass, like 22 to like 49 is like kind of like a normal range for like a normal system and stuff. But that's pretty wide still, because a lot of these guys build their walls and it's like a huge ratio difference. So it's real peaky, and it's just like right around here and right around here for the two peaks of that. But I always try with like my ported enclosures, because I don't have a wall, I don't have a band pass, and it's like I'm like really stuck between like 10 hertz where I really want it to play, and some rebasers, it's like for some god darn reason it's like they put a 23 in there, and it's like I am not hitting that, but like I need it here and I need it up here, and I just appreciate what you do with that, making tailored stuff, because everybody's system is different. 1000%.
Yep. And that's one of my biggest selling points. I do the custom stuff and people love it.
13 to 23 is where it's at. I remember playing 13 to 19 or 13 to 21 in Cookie Monster. Like that was like the demo song to go to. Gave EXO a demo with that, and it was just wind for that single 18. I do miss it. I still have the box. It's in storage. I did not throw it away. I do miss the wind, but it's like I also don't miss ripping my spider, and it's just like just things like that with all that wasted information.
I definitely do not envy these low playing builds facts that they have to replace multiple doors.
Yeah.
I do not
look at Jerry. Dude, I got a video of
the latches.
I got a video of Jerry Ain't Loud's at I still got to edit that and post it to YouTube. But I got a video of Jerry Ain't Loud's door, like just his door at Ruckus. Like he had it open and he was moving the whole top of it because it ripped it all the way down. And it was
wow.
I mean, it's insane that sound can do that in the first place.
It's like plastic, elastic, and it just done. Done. I know my Pilot, which is just a quad box, but it actually cracked the rear quarter panel because it was just from flexing, all the pressure on that side. Now I got this giant crack in it, and it's only a 150, but it's like at 47 hertz. So it's like, like that terrible frequency you don't want to just sit in above a 150 because it gets unbearable.
Yeah.
I remember the Kicker Cube was notorious for that, man. 170 dB.
That's crazy.
38 to like 52 hertz. It was just eyeball shaking. It was insane.
The most I'll do with those builds that do a 70 plus on music, I might stick my head in, but it's only for a second. I can't even get hardly close to them. They're crazy. And the Cube was a very impressive. I mean, it was a very impressive system. So
you couldn't hear the music inside. I didn't put any speakers in there, but you didn't need any. And you were struggling to stay in there for as long as you could. I just remember pain and pleasure at the same time.
All it took was one build to hurt me, and I was like, nope, I know what they're about. I'm good.
What, Joby's old build is a SPL burp vehicle, that 176 build at 49 hertz, I think it was. That
mine was
with the eardrums.
Mine was Gary Killian. Whenever he had his expedition, he was doing I think it was a 65 at like 52 hertz. Nope, absolutely not. I don't want to be in that no more. No, but we're gonna wrap this up real quick. We're at an hour and a half. One thing that I want to note on real quick: our next podcast is not going to be on a Tuesday. It is going to be on a Sunday. And we have a special guest, so we will announce who that is probably Friday this week. But I'm going to say right now, it's not one that you're going to want to miss. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But
Sunday, I will tune in. I will tune into that. And thanks for having me tonight, man. And I got to get ready too. We got Kicker Unmasked. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Keep doing what you're doing with this.
If you want to stay after a little bit, we can chat a little bit more. But we're going to close this off here in a second. Before we go, djdirtybass.com, use code BASSDROP to save 20% on a flash drive, any flash drive bundle, or custom edit. Keep in mind, I'm a dealer for Audio Ace and Resilient Sounds. We have financing on all of our subwoofers, flash drives, merch, whatever. You want to finance it on my website, you can do it with Affirm or PayPal Pay Later or Afterpay. We have all those options. But with that, that's the end of this episode of the Base Drop Podcast. So thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to drop the bass.